That chapter, man. I ain't know if I gonna do the video for y'all today. I ain't gonna lie. I would have been like a motherfucker. It could have been came out when I had posted that shit. You know what I'm saying? Which I wouldn't read too type shit. I could have been dropped that bitch. But shit, y'all said that chapter, so we're gonna go ahead and get into that chapter, man. We got laughing with the media committing a different crime.
For granted. Let's move past that. This story involves this handsome, charming fella.
Prada even played to the cameras, wiping a speck of blood from his face after making his accusations about civil rights abuses.
There's some ants and lamps right there. Hold on. This is a story which lasted almost 30 years, till January 2023, when this story came to a very permanent end. Well, you know, the old kind of boop. This is a story of a marriage. It's a story of an ex-cop, and it's a story of hiring some people to go do what you want to get done. And then it's a story of, you hooking it up after, having a grand old time. some man for one man. Before we get into it, please subscribe to see new true crime videos every week from me to you. And also, I want to mention this at the end of the video, but real quick, there's a lot of bots and scammers going on YouTube in the comments right now. Long story short, folks, I am not on Telegram. Anyone claiming to be me on Telegram, it's not me. And if you get replies in the YouTube, it's very irritating. Also, everyone, it's northeast of Houston and was named one of the best places to retire, funnily enough. It is a thriving nightlife that ends at 4 p.m. and is home to over 80,000 people, if you can believe that. So if you were to drive from downtown Houston and take a right, a left, a right, a left, a right, a left, and then a right again, you would end up at 5411 Timbers Trail Drive. There, in that pleasant and leafy suburb, lies a nice two-story home, a garage, nice garden. And it was there that on the 9th of November 1994, Farah Frada, she pulled in. 'Twas her home where she lived with her 3 children, the oldest of which was 7 years of age. That evening, Farah had gone out. She'd gotten her hair did at a local beauty salon, and then she pulled into her driveway at about 8 p.m. Her 3 children, they were with the daddy-o at the time, and he was due to bring them back to her home that evening. However, as Farah pulled into the driveway, drove into the garage, parked the car, and opened the door, a man swiftly walked up to her as she was exiting the car, shot her twice in the head. Farah lay bleeding out on that cold garage floor, and the killer fled, running into the passenger side door of a nearby car, which had the engine running, and then they drove away. Neighbors that night just so happened to have witnessed something. They saw Farah back into her driveway, then they turned away, they heard a shot, a scream, saw Farah lying on the ground, and then another shot, execution style.
Damn.
And then 911 was dialed.
Can I just call a shooting, please?
Okay, do you know of anybody?
That sound like a goddamn hit, boy.
Shot?
Yes, I see the lady. I see her garage right now.
Nobody shot?
Yes. Do you need to send an ambulance? She's down. There's still a person out there. There's a black gentleman. He has a black shirt and a black pants. The lady is down in her garage. She's been shot 2 times. There are 2 shots. Oh, dear. Okay. There's still a person out there. There's a black gentleman. He has a black shirt and a black pants. The lady is down.
I always gotta be a black man, don't it?
In her garage. She's been shot 2 times. There are 2 shots. Oh,
I was just playing.
Okay.
No, dead ass serious on that though.
Farah, she was alive when the medics, reached her. And then they were going to rush her to a helicopter to get her to the nearest hospital. But sadly, it was too late. And she passed away not long after.
Followed by a scream and then another second quick gunshot. And then the suspect was seen hiding by a tree. The vehicle came around the corner and picked him up and left.
The investigation, as you can imagine, immediately began. And it started with the obvious. The obvious, right? Means motive. Motive? Well, she hadn't been sexually assaulted. She hadn't been robbed. She still had her purse and her cash still on her, right? So the motive wasn't a sexual attack or a robbery gone wrong. Somebody trying to steal a purse and then bang, bang. It wasn't anything like that. It seemed like the motive was was Farah,
A hit.
her life itself. That was the motive.
That was
She
a
was
hit.
executed. Like, she was shot once, she was on the ground. Execution style, she took another one to the head. It was determined that the killer had been hiding in Farah's her back garden, and then had broken into her home, and then when she reversed into her own garage, the killer came at her from inside the house. They opened the garage door with the gun. Pretty soon, though, at the tippity top of the list was Farah's estranged husband, Robert Frada.
I want you to imagine that you're out driving in your vehicle, you find yourself in an accident.
But I'm gonna imagine that shit right now, nigga.
Robert Frada, went by Bob, and Farah Frada had been married for 11 years by 1994. And at the time of Farah's murder, they were involved in a pretty messy and painful divorce and custody battle over their 3 children. Bradley, 7 years of age, Daniel, 6, and Amber,
Oh, she had 3
4.
kids.
In fact, the trial was due in 3 weeks' time. Farah was 33 years old at the time of her death, born in Guildford, England. She grew up in Croydon, South London, and after she would go to college, and then she began working at a travel agency. She began dating an Englishman at the time, and soon became engaged to him, but when Farah Backer's parents, with whom she was extremely close, when they moved to Houston, Texas, Farah, well, she chose to go along with them.
Damn.
Much to the delight of her fiancé. No doubt. Once she arrived in Texas, right, she loved traveling, right? She worked in a travel agency, so she began applying for jobs, and within 1 week, she got a job at American Airlines, working as a ticket agency. Now, you might be thinking, no, it wasn't just her accent, which made everything just sound posh. She was also extremely charming. She was extremely dynamic. She would always have these like new and exciting ideas, and everybody got on great with her. And it was through this job that she would meet police officer Bob Frada. He was a Missouri City police officer. Missouri City was in the southwest, so it was pretty much on the opposite side of Houston from Atascocita. He was a handsome, charming guy, you know, he worked out, he took care of himself, but despite warnings from ex-co-workers about, you know, he's a bit of a ladies' man, you know, maybe, she got involved with him, pretty soon breaking off her engagement, which she still...
Man, I hate lame ass motherfucking females. If niggas do this, y'all gay. If somebody trying to get somebody, y'all gonna say, oh, he is gay. I hate, why y'all female do that bullshit? Car blocking.
Kept up with that guy back in London. Okay. So she would end up with Bobby Fratheads over here. And they would have 3 kids together. Life was good. Right up until it wasn't good. Now, what exactly happened? I'm not going to get into too much detail here, because it's frankly sick as shit. But Bobby, he had some predilections, I guess you could say, for some sick sexual shit. Now, hey, listen, come on. I'm not going to kink shame
What you mean by that?
over here. Whatever you're into, so long as you're not hurting anybody else, go for it. Whack away. But Bobby, he deserves to be kink shamed. 100%. He was into coprophilia. That means he liked to eat shit. Here's something. Okay, so this is from their later divorce filings. I'm gonna read you out something here. He wanted to, quote, wanted to watch his wife engage in...
He like to do what?
Here's something. Okay, so this is from their later divorce filings. I'm gonna read you out something here. He wanted to, quote, wanted to watch his wife engage in lesbian sexual activities, have her defecate in his mouth, urinate on him, and choke him while he masturbated, and hit him in the stomach while he masturbated, and he wanted her to perform such acts every day, on a daily basis. Shit in his mouth.
Shitty.
So yeah, you gotta stop masturbating over there and listen up, because Farah, she was not terribly keen on that herself. It wasn't really her cup of tea. She was like, I'm grand, thanks. Flashbacks of Mark Redwine over here once again. Bob was like, I need to be eating shit all the time, and when I'm not eating
that
shit,
video when I'm...
you'll hear me asking, where's the shit? And when that wasn't happening, he would get very mad. He would get very cross. Hence, a divorce. But Bob, he was Tom Petty. He was not gonna just let her walk away. No siree. And so it would end in divorce. Their marriage, at least something would be flushed down the toilet, am I right? Farrah would kick Bob out of the house, but for Bob, this was a game to him. He didn't want to pay child support. He didn't want custody of the kids either.
Damn.
But he did want to drag this out for as long as possible to hurt Farrah, hence why he filed for custody of the kids. Farrah had detailed all of this in the upcoming custody battle, divorce battle, all of it. Bob was not too keen on all this becoming public, which it would once the court case began. So, in fact, a few months before her death, Farrah called the police, panicking. The police rocked up and she was absolutely hysterical. She said that one night she was in bed, a masked intruder broke into the house, smashing a window, broke into her house and started attacking her with a stun gun, attacking her in front of her children. Then this guy fled. He was never caught. Now it's not...
That's why I know that was probably his ass. But the stun gun, hell yeah, that was his ass. He was a police. But nah, for real, this why y'all females, listen to me, females. I know females is watch. I know female watch my shit. I know. Get y'all a motherfucking gun. And I ain't talking about no pepper spray. Get you a gun. If you scared of guns, get you one of them things that shoot out like a gun.
Believed it was Bob, but it's believed Bob was behind it. That Bob. Now, believed it was Bob, but it's believed Bob was behind it. That Bob paid somebody to break into his house and attack his wife in front of his fucking children. Like, turns out that him gobbling up literal shit is not the most disgusting thing about him. And then, so 4 months later, this happens, and so the detective's eyes, immediately went to the estranged husbands, right? Means, ding, motive, ding. That's a double ding right there. But the problem was he had an alibi as tight and as strong as my love for the life insurance stunts. He was at church in Humble, not far away, with their 3 children.
That's a strong alibi. You know, right?
But that didn't mean
he still could have hired somebody. So either way, he still got them fuck. That is a strong motive,
he
though.
wasn't involved, right? That very night, his car was searched, and $1,000 was found in Bobby Fratta's glove compartment of the car, which the police were like, it's quite a lot of money to be carrying around. Was it maybe payoff money? Now, Bobby said it was for new carpeting. Come on, guys, let's need to tear up the old rug. Nothing suspicious. Now, so listen to this. I tell you stories of bizarre, crazy crimes and strange disappearances. And you know what that means? You gotta watch your back. Sometimes it might be best to be invisible from those out there who might be trying to get you. Those mother heckin', BS'in', excuse my Frenchin', dangerous psychopaths on the clacky world wide web. So, to protect your booty cheeks online, you need to get yourself a very large caliber. Yes, Mr. NordVPN. It's actually all good. NordVPN will look after you. NordVPN is the online service keeping you, specifically you. You will up of armor mixed with whatever Avenger can teleport, mixed with some pretty cool shades. Use my link, that's NordVPN.
Like, what am I doing now? I mean, originally what killed?
Thank you again, Daddy NordVPN. Now let's get back into it. He was interviewed by the police that night.
Did you originally what killed? No, I did not. I'll put it this way too. I mean, if anything happens to her, that's one of the things I was thinking about on the way over here. It's like, what the hell am I doing now? I mean, me found in custody. Me found in custody was also relying on her to be paying me child support, $6 to $700 a month.
Damn.
She wanted a divorce.
Oh, you do got 3 kids by him, though. $7? Wait.
I guess to sum it up, basically, there was no romance and affection in our marriage. It was more like, I mean, I loved her, I provided for her, took care of her and everything, but I guess we just weren't in love with each other, And whereas to me,
she didn't want to shit on
I was
you.
able to handle it, and I guess just told her, look,
She didn't want to shit on you, bro. That was hell.
Yes, man, as far as it was.
Tell the truth.
She wanted to find somebody to put on the test and filed for divorce.
Farrah really must have taken a dump in his mouth for the amount of shit he's speaking.
Who hit your wife loves to kill her? No, man.
Hey, what the out of all the storytellers I react to, that child, that nigga keep that shit a book. I ain't gonna care out of everybody I react to. That nigga that chapter, he get that shit a buck, bro. I ain't say it was on your mind.
Picture. What's wrong with this picture? Your wife lives in an above average neighborhood, upper middle income neighborhood. I know for a fact the houses go from probably 90 to 150,000. Very little happens out there, I know that for a fact. And your wife is shot out of the clear blue as she's going in the garage. Nothing's taken from her. And for no reason. Check her lifestyle. She went out clubbing a lot. It's kind of hot. You're right. And I don't know what to say. Yeah. I'll be right.
The next morning, Bobby was released, very happy to see the media yapping away.
Not at all. Never had this before. I didn't get to make any phone calls. I didn't get fed until 2 o'clock. I've been under detention since 9:30 last night. I was beat. So this has not been a very pleasant experience. Yes, ma'am. Probably not. No. I mean, they hit you, chest and kick you in the legs and stuff like that. One of the sergeants.
So
Sergeant,
So they just not solving this shit? Like this year? They happened like 30 years ago, so them kids, they grown as shit. They probably got their own kids by now. And shit, that their daddy got down, they probably had speculations too, though.
I asked for a security officer, but when I was handcuffed to a chair, I cooperated fully. I was handcuffed tight and blue. This was pretty ridiculous. And like I said, I'm willing to cooperate fully with everything.
Why do you think they believe you did it?
Well, if I got shot, I'm sure Farr would be the suspect for that. I mean, that's is natural. I was totally understanding about that. I mean, I would suspect myself too if I was doing the investigation. That's only natural. Have to find out. So.
And the investigation into Farrah's murder continued. The police were full sure Bob was involved in some capacity. But his alibi was as tight as words I can't say on YouTube. He was definitely at the nearby Catholic church with his 3 children. He was seen.
I know what you're talking about.
He was there at the exact time his wife was being killed. And so the police began following him, and I mean everywhere, and especially at the gym. There, they learned he'd been speaking to some gym buddies about, quote, knocking her off.
Don't
Now, they thought he was just bullshitting and had no idea why his breath stank so bad. But then, when it actually happens, apparently he said this to over 24 people, and he kept a list of her daily activities. He even mentioned hiring someone, but they just thought it was locker room talk, just guys being dudes. And everyone liked him. They just thought he was blowing off steam. And police learned that when he was in the church at the time Farrah was killed, many people remember him being on the church phone a lot. They would remember that as, during the service he would keep running off. And his beeper, remember them, that kept buzzing, so he had to keep using the church phone. What happened then was the police found a notebook in Bob's car. And in that notebook, they found the name and number of one Mary Gipp. It turned out that Bob and Mary had been in communication a lot, the night of the murders. Now, who was she? Well, she didn't really give the police anything. But what was even more important was her boyfriend, a Joseph Prystash, ex-con, and he worked out with Bob at the gym a lot. Police began to think he may have been the real killer, but they had nothing to go on. Joe Prystash himself was a former cop, rumored to be involved in murder for hires. But at the time they were getting nowhere. That was until they dragged Mary before a grand jury to subpoena her. I think they were threatening her with charging her with murder, although I'm not exactly sure what they would have to charge her with murder with, you know what I mean? But they were just threatening her, but it got her to talk and start telling a story. She talked in exchange for immunity. She said her boyfriend, Joseph, had been hired by Bob to help set up the murder, and that Joseph hired a neighbor of his, a kid, 18-year-old Howard Guidry, to be the trigger man. Howard would get $1,000.
My bad, y'all. My bad, bro. For what I say, y'all gotta be a black motherfucker. I was gonna say, none of these people in here black, but I don't see it is a black person in here. My bad.
Joe Prystash would drive Howard to the murder scene, pick him up afterwards, and use Mary's cell phone to tell Bob Prada when it was done. It was all planned that Bob would be at the church at the time.
Damn.
And Mary, for some kind of odd reason, what was going on in her noggin, I do not know, but she, after the murder, she saw the murder weapon and she managed to write down the serial number of that particular handgun. Now, I'm not sure if she knew what was going to happen, that it would come into useful in a situation exactly like this, but who knows? That murder weapon was traced back to a purchase made by Robert Frada back in 1982. And the funny thing was, the police also had the murder weapon and Howard Guidry already in custody.
Damn.
On the 1st of March 1995, Howard Guidry was arrested after a bank robbery, and he had the murder weapon on him. So, when the police caught up with him, it didn't take long for him to crack and tell the story, even showing police around the exact scene it all happened.
Whenever I was finished, when you were finished, what are you referring to when you finished? Whenever I killed the girl, Colin, you'll be waiting by this phone. I don't know. That's basically it for here. But he called Bob, and Bob was at church with his children.
Where'd you get the pistol from?
From Joe. I got the pistol from Joe.
Howard, just like before, I'd like to read this to you. Tell me that you understand everything. You have the right to remain silent and not make any statement at all. That any statement you make may be used against you and probably will be used against you at your trial.
Why ain't supposed to do that the first time? Why he didn't do that one? What? Don't he supposed to do that the first time, like when he arrested him and all that. He didn't say everything he had to say now.
Trial. You understand that? Any statement you make may be used as evidence against you in court. You understand that?
Yeah, too late. Too late.
You have the right to have a lawyer present to advise you prior to and during any questioning. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you wish to talk to us?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll stop here about 5:30, 6, sometime between that. And from here, I'm gonna cross. I'll walk.
Sure. Let's walk.
And I walked up to right here. I stood right here, 38 in my hand. And I waited for somebody to come to the door, but nobody came, but I heard noise. So I creeped around like this, and I checked the door, but it was locked from the outside. I had the gun in my hand. When she did like this, I pulled the gun up and I shot her once in the head. And she like fell to the side, or slumped to the side. And I started to run out. And as I started to run out, she wasn't really dead. So I turned around, I closed my eyes, and I shot her one more time in the head.
You close your eye, that meant it wasn't meant for you to do. Dumbass nigga.
Bob had approached at least 7 different people, asking them, hey, got one for you. Shooting the shit. You kill my wife? Would you kill my wife?
What?
Yes, no, maybe, no. Oh, okay, thanks.
You
That's one for
sick
every day of the
motherfucker.
week. I would have trouble asking 7 different people for a loan of €10, but here we are. Bob also, just a couple of days before the murders, he took out a
Life insurance policy. Goddamn dummy. That's what they.
worth almost 2.
That's why they always fuck up at right there. They always want to file a life insurance policy. Oh, dummies. And if you look up any couples that, you know what I'm saying, they ever got, you know, some people that got married and shit, like all that type of shit. And you look up the goddamn reasons why, 90%, it ain't even for cheating, it's for life insurance policies.
$50,000. Because of course he did. Joe Pricedash was also arrested and confessed. And swiftly after, Bob Prada was arrested too. He was not so talkative, however.
His handcuffs were awfully tight, and I didn't do it.
He fucking delusional.
Bob cared a lot about his image. He was beefed up, sure. So when negative things about Bob were going to come out, well, that was not on his menu.
What was on his menu?
He was not going to pick from that menu.
What was on his
menu? But it
menu?
sure as shit was on his menu now. All 3 men, Bob, Joe, and Howard, would be found guilty of murder, and all would be sentenced to death.
lost some of his swagger when in just 50 minutes of deliberations, the jury decided he's guilty of arranging the murder of his estranged wife.
I'm glad. Justice has prevailed. Freedom has prevailed.
The victim's family wept when the verdict was read. So did Frada's family. The defendant only stared at the table in front of him.
I cannot wait for the day when I see him laying on that table, waiting to get the injection.
Damn.
That will be justice for me.
Damn.
I know for myself, he's gone.
Damn.
However, 13 years after this case began, the judge threw out Bob's conviction. See, both Howard and Joe would withdraw their confessions, saying they had been coerced, but both had been allowed into evidence. So, Bob went on trial once again in 2009. He was found guilty once again and sentenced to death.
Dumbass.
We, the jury, find the defendant Robin Allen Frada guilty of capital murder as charged in the indictment signed by the foreman.
Dumbass.
All three men were sentenced to death. His appeals went nowhere.
Again,
and neither
bitch.
did Bob.
Nah.
Are you involved in it, or do you deny being involved? I would like to hear from you.
Yeah, sure. I had nothing to do with my wife's death at all. I've been professing my innocence from the onset.
Can you see yourself in the death house in Huntsville?
No, not at all.
It's completely off your
It's
mind.
not even on there. No.
He lying.
It won't happen.
Until January 2023, when his death sentence was carried out. 65-year-old Bob received the lethal injection at 7:25 p.m. and he died 24 minutes later. When asked if he had any final statement, he said no.
Frada did not make a last statement. He stared straight ahead at the ceiling and did not acknowledge the victim's witnesses at all.
He still was a coward tonight when he was offered an opportunity to at least extend an olive branch to his son.
Oh shit, yeah.
The other two are still on death row as of filming this video. And so ends the story of Robert Frada, the story of a narcissist who had some odd enjoyments that he definitely didn't want in public. He cared about his image, literally.
Yeah, he did. That motherfucker was a sick motherfucker. He was a sick motherfucker when he was like, he wanted him to on him. His wife he wanted his wife to on him. I knew he was a sick motherfucker then, so I already knew he had something to do with her murder. But anyway, man, another video out for y'all. This that chowder, man. That being said, see y'all motherfuckers on this video. Let's ride, nigga. Don't you come back no more. What you say?